Everyone likes to talk about failures, but the main thing is you might have a lot of little small steps. Every one of those steps seemed to not take you anywhere in money. It didn't get you much more money. It didn't get you any money, but you're kind of proud. You show them off to friends even. Your mind was increasing. Your methods of coming up with better solutions was increasing. You not only have to now read a book on how things are done, you can write the book, and that's called creativity. You create new things yourself. So always try it. Here's the biggest key I can give to anybody in the world, that if you're kind of smart and you're working on some project, maybe it's software, maybe it's hardware, try to think at the end, you complete it. You know enough to complete it. Don't stop there. Say, how can I make it perfect? Almost better than any other human being would. Can I shorten the code? Can I redo it a little cleaner structure? Give yourself some of those redos. And when you're young, you'll put in a lot more than 8 hours a day.
The time is now. The time is now to express and for people to believe in themselves. The time is now for it to be okay to be great. People in this world shun people for being great, for being a bright color, for standing out. But the time is now to be okay to be the greatest you.
Those days. Those days when I'm tired or worn out or just basically sick of the grind. What do I do on those days? I go anyways. I get it done, even if I'm just going through the motions. I go through the motions. I don't really want to work out. I work out. I really don't want to hammer on a project. I hammer on the project. Don't really want to get up and get out of bed. Yeah, I get up and get out of bed. Now, these could be signals that you need some time off. And those signals might be right. They could be correct. But don't take today off. Not today. Wait until tomorrow. Don't give in to the immediate gratification that is whispering in your ear. Shut that down. Do not listen to that little voice. Instead, go through the motions. Lift the weights, sprint the hill, work on the project, get out of bed. Now, as an overall rule, I do not like procrastination. You need to get things done. But if you are going to rest, that is one thing that you should procrastinate on. That's the one thing I want you to put off until tomorrow. And if, when tomorrow comes, you still feel like you need to rest or you need to take a break, then okay, take it. But the chances are you won't. You won't need that rest. Chances are you will realize that the desire to rest was just weakness. It was just the desire to take the path of least resistance, the downhill path, the easy path. And by simply going through the motions, you overcame that path. And you stayed on the righteous path, the disciplined path. You stayed on the war path, which is right where you know that you belong.
You know, people like Mozart and Beckham and the great athletes, humanitarians, entrepreneurs, chess champions were less about genetics and natural talent. And what makes icons in whatever field you choose is not your talent. It's things like the amount that you practice, your ability to stay with your practice for the 10,000 hours, your social circle. I mean, what made the great Brazilian footballers great was not that they have some natural thing by living in Brazil. It's every little kid from pretty much the moment he's 3 or 4 years old, right, sees the heroes, and it's the ticket out of poverty. And so all they do is touch the football every single day and night. And by the time they're 11 years old. They've touched the football millions of times, and they are therefore untouchable compared to anyone else around the world. And all I'm saying is, genius is not something you're born with. Genius is something that you apply. You don't get lucky, you make lucky. Success is not something that is, divinely bestowed on you. Success, whether it's prosperity or whatever it is something that you earn by grit, hard work.
But we know from psychology and we know from goal attainment theory that unless you're starting with those small steps and giving yourself credit for them, the odds are you're not going to go on to the next steps that are bigger and bigger and bigger, because your identity is still at the beginning stage, right? If you always feel like the beginner at something and you never feel the competency gains that comes from accomplishing and moving forward, but giving yourself credit for it, you're not likely to take on the bigger things in life. So check yourself on this one. When's the last time you really gave yourself credit? When's the last time you really celebrated just a small little thing? And comment below, what was that thing? What did you do? What was the achievement, or what was the step you took, and how did you celebrate? Did you go out to dinner? Did you tell your spouse about it? Did you write and journal about it? Did you put something up and frame it? Like, what did you do to celebrate that you were beginning?
Can you go to what you're like? Can you go to your mistakes? Can you go to your weaknesses? Right? Can you go to other people's mistakes and weaknesses? Some people, because of an ego barrier, can't do that. And so if they don't recognize their own mistakes, their own weaknesses, or others' mistakes and weaknesses, what the root cause being what they're like, because of ego barriers, if they can't go there, they're going to repeat those mistakes. They're going to have them over and over again.